But if you want to find out who you are before your father and mother conceived you, who you really are, you almost have to go off by yourself. Go into the forest and stop talking, even stop thinking words, and be absolutely alone, and listen to the great silences. And then, if you're lucky, you recover from the illusion that you're just little me, the so-and-so, and you attain the state of nirvana, which means the blown-out state, the relieved state, the sigh of relief.
6 stages of a spiritual awakening. Stage 1, dark night of the soul. During the dark night of the soul, we're feeling very depressed and lost. This could be often triggered by a breakup, a divorce, trauma, illness, or a sudden life change. Stage 2, you start to see the world for how it really is. You realize that you cannot trust the government and everything that they say. You realize time isn't real. You start to realize religion is man-made. And you start to realize we're living in a simulation. Stage 3, you start to do all this research about spirituality and the matrix that we live in. You start to practice meditation, learning about chakras. Stage 4, your higher self starts to wake up. You start to learn the difference between your ego and your higher self. A lot of the times, this is when your third eye opens. You might start having psychic visions and you might sense other people's energy. But then you begin to switch from your higher self to your ego off and on. Stage 5, you begin to do shadow work, inner child healing work. And you begin to heal your childhood traumas, any trauma that you have been through in life, your triggers, any insecurities, you start to heal through them. Stage 6, you are enlightened and at peace with yourself. You let life flow as it should, and you accept change with open arms. You begin to feel connected with yourself and the universe, and you'll begin to experience euphoria, happiness, and bliss.
Symptoms of spiritual awakening.
Hey, how do you spell happy?
Happy?
Yeah, I can't remember.
What? D-U-M-M-Y, because you're a dummy.
Yesterday, he was looking at me so crazy.
Was
I don't
he?
even know why he was staring so
Girl,
hard. Like, do you hear that?
Hear what?
Do you hear the ringing?
Ring? What? Get your ears checked.
I'm so hungry.
Wish I had a cheeseburger with extra pickles right now.
Hey, babe. I got you a cheeseburger with extra pickles. Figured you'd be hungry. Bro, wake up. The puppies. Oh my God. Someone save the puppies, please.
This is what happens when you have a spiritual awakening. Spiritual awakening, or existential realization of self, is the sudden realization of your existence within this universe. When you go through this experience, there is usually an intense feeling of waking up or being reborn in a way that is extremely vivid and extremely lucid. This awakening causes one to have an intense sense of motivation, a sense of purpose, an understanding of one's mortality, and a deep appreciation for each moment that passes. When one experiences this awakening, no new knowledge is learned, but rather there is a new, deeper understanding of their previous experiences that becomes visible in a sudden manner. These cases of spiritual awakenings can be caused suddenly by meditation, dreams, altered states of consciousness, grief, or can happen randomly at some point throughout someone's life. However, these awakenings are not a constant state of being. For some people, the impact of their experience fundamentally changes their perception on life, their values, their priorities, and leads them on a path of self-discovery. But for many, when the intensity of their experience wears off, they will return to a more conventional way of thinking or living, forgetting the wisdom that they attained in this so-called awakening. And even worse than returning to a conventional way of thinking, they may develop a messiah complex, suffer from depersonalization or derealization, and even psychosis. And so it's important to be aware of the reality of this experience.
There is a thin line between spirituality and schizophrenia, and sometimes they can overlap, and that line can be blurred. See, a lot of times when people go through spiritual awakenings, they experience a certain level of psychosis, and this can cause people to lose touch with reality and become disillusioned depressed, or even cause people to no longer want to live. And a lot of times this is due to sensory overload. See, having a spiritual awakening, it's like being pushed into the ocean without knowing how to swim. And a lot of people drown in their own mind. When you've been programmed to believe lies your whole life, and then you're suddenly exposed to the truth, your brain literally can't process all of that. So you open your third eye and you start to actually see different dimensions and start seeing different types of beings. Man, everybody cannot handle that. So I never try to force people to embark upon this path, because to keep it real, a lot of people just aren't mentally strong enough. Some people are better off just being in the matrix.
Movies you should tap into if you're on your spiritual journey or you just had a spiritual awakening, part 1. This movie is a gem and it's called Frequencies, and it talks about the different frequencies within people. It gives new perspectives on how frequencies affect our luck and the divine plan within the universe. It shows a different perspective from what we commonly think of as a high frequency person from a low frequency person. This is definitely a movie you should tap into ASAP. Now, I just recently tapped into this movie and it has some gems in it. This movie taps into the ability of the dream world as well as the power of your subconscious mind. With me already tapping into my subconscious mind, it just helped me understand the power of it a lot more. Another gem, go tap in with it ASAP. Now, this movie doesn't need an introduction, but this movie is called Lucy. This movie taps into the concept of us being able to use our brain at its full capacity. And it allows you to understand that everything starts from within your mind and brain. Tap in.
Blow that piece of junk out of the sky!
Exactly.
Jedi, you're still holding on! Let go! Hey, this! Supposed to feed the rats on schedule or they get sick! Hey, guys! Traitor! Sucks!
I just had sex. I'm about to eat
Nachos! Hold on to your hats! You're about to get pounded! This just sucks! And so you shall!
This is how you know if you're going through a spiritual awakening and your entire life is about to change. Now, a spiritual awakening is you coming to the realization that you are not this body. You are the soul inside the body. Most humans stay unconscious of that their entire life, but most of y'all have a natural spiritual awakening. You're going through a spiritual awakening, life just start to feel different. You start to feel detached from reality. Life been the same your entire life, and now all of a sudden, recently, everything just feels different. Because your awareness level is starting to raise and you're starting to see how life wasn't what you think it was this whole time. They call this derealization and act like it's a bad thing, but it's not a bad thing at all. Number 2, you've been questioning your beliefs. Ever since you was a kid, you was taught to learn about God or whatever you believe in. All that information came from another human. Your spiritual awakening allows you to detach from all these beliefs and connect back with your intuition. But your brain, your ego, doesn't want you to accept the fact that you're questioning your beliefs, so you push it off to a side. A lot of y'all grew up Christian and don't want to go to hell, but that's a part of the programming. Number 3, you've been seeing a lot of angel numbers, a lot of coincidences and synchronicities been happening to you. Life is supposed to be synchronized. We are supposed to be on a divine pattern. But when you're not connected with your soul, when you're not connected with your higher self, it's like you're just all human. So life is like a free-for-all. So when you start seeing these numbers and synchronicities start to happen, that's a sign that you're getting in tune with your higher self. Another thing, you've been feeling real alone lately. And that's perfectly fine. When you're having a spiritual awakening, you're connecting with your true self. So you start to feel like that you don't relate to nobody like you usually did. All these people out here is not connected with themselves. They just programmed by society. And the more that you connect with yourself, it's the more that you feel like that you don't fit in. I can get way deeper on this, so make sure that y'all follow for more. I love y'all.
Reality explained in 1 minute 30 seconds. The universe is mental. Everything you experience is inside of your mind. This is why the 4 elements have the word meant in it, mind. You do not see into reality. Light is sucked through the eyes and the image is produced at the back of the brain. You only experience electrical impulses on your nervous system. You do not actually touch the real world. Only thing that exists outside of you is electromagnetic light waves. Everything's made out of one substance, and that substance is light. A torus field is 1 unit of light. Physical matter is a result of 2 opposing forces equalized on the plane of inertia, which give us planet Earth. The torus field is black light giving birth to white light. This white light then gives birth to red and blue. This is why everything in this matrix is red and blue. Everything in this creation has polarity, good and bad. The torus field creates the sine wave. This sine wave is what gives us good and bad, day and night, summer, winter. The DNA is a sine wave, the sun does a sine wave, the zodiac is a sine wave, the dollar bill. You are a star, this is why we say Mr., Sister, Stir is star. We start in the stars and we enter a soul system, not a solar system.
You crystallize into the 7 energies, which are your 7 energy centers in your body. Then you enter the heart, which rearrange spells earth. Life rearranged spells file, and it's being recorded by the 2 eyes. There is no past or future, there's only an infinite and indefinite now. What you call as a memory is actually energy. So your mind is the root cause of all of this. This is why it's mind over matter. You change this physical world by your mind.
What I'm about to say will be received differently by everybody, depending on where you are in your journey of life. But if you are seeing this video right now, you can be assured that your energy is ready to receive it, and you're about to learn why. Before you were born, your soul sat down with your overarching archangels and a team of spirit guides that belongs solely to you, and design the life that you're living in right now. Before you start scratching your head and screaming at me, let me continue. Very much are a beacon of light in this world, this 3D reality, with intention. You may have grown up in church. You may have grown up with religion. It's all very much real and also very much wrong, but none of that really matters. You'll see. Your soul designed a life filled with experiences meant to evoke emotion out of you. These are things that our 3D brain in our human body, our shell, cannot comprehend in this reality that we live in. Because if we knew the true purpose for our mission here on planet Earth, it wouldn't work. Your soul has been through this journey countless times. So many times that you could articulate this very much to the rest of us, except for that pesky veil that we have floating over our consciousness. We're not supposed to know this. Why are you hearing this coming out of my mouth right now? Because haven't you figured out yet that you're not like all of the rest? I don't even have to tell you, and I'm not going to tell you what I mean by that. It's a feeling that you've had as long as you can remember. It's why you haven't fit in anywhere you've been. Life for people like us looks very different than most. We have not had an easy life. In fact, we've had an uphill climb in just about every situation we've been a part of. They were building blocks, see? Because you've been on a mission since the day you were born to absorb and to learn everything about life that you could, very intentionally. And recently, you've experienced a shift in your consciousness, your reality to the world all around you. It's making you feel all out of sorts in this world that you live in now. And really, what seems to be magical things are happening. Life is throwing you synchronicities every single day now in an effort for you to notice. Have you? I know you have. That's why we're talking right now. Comes a point in all of our journeys where we can no longer avoid the call of our higher self, our soul, because they're the ones that are behind our mission here. Everything that you've been through in your life that you thought you screwed up, that you thought you were a sham at, all planned, my love. I'm telling you this because I'm a breadcrumb thrown at you by your higher self, aka your soul, the universe, for this moment in time right now to start to make sense. As you begin to digest this newfound awareness to life, it will start to make more sense, more and more.
This is probably one of the scariest things, part of a spiritual awakening that no one told me about, that I'm currently experiencing, and maybe you are too. It's so fucked up because it doesn't even make sense when it's happening, because it's the opposite that we actually want. It's the realization that the people in your life and that you have around you or have had around you do no longer match your frequency. They're no longer who you want in your life nor need. The most fucked up thing about it is that we then isolate because we feel like we don't belong. We isolate ourselves, we ostracize ourselves, and then we feel lonely, and then this hole becomes so dark and we just don't know what to do. Then we start to think that no one else in this world is going to be our friend, our companion, our soulmate, our partner, or even just understand who we are or what we mean. But there's light at the end of the tunnel, and that's what I'm realizing now, is that we can connect in so many different ways as long as we push ourselves and put ourselves out there.
If you're on your spiritual journey, here's top 5 movies you need to watch. Number 1, Cloud Atlas. It's a movie about how everything is happening now. All your lifetimes that you incurred are happening right now. It's all a matter of perspective. Check it out. Number 2, The Surrogate. Now, a lot of people liked iRobot, but this was a lot more deeper, and it's about how we pay too much attention to our digital avatars and lose a sense of touch with personal connection, and how deep that rabbit hole can go. The Surrogate. Number 3. Number 3, Her. Her is about how we can fall in love with technology or AI, but also plays upon how freeing it is not being attached to this physical flesh. Also, being attached to technology. It's weird. It's kind of slow, but watch it. It's good. Arrival. You know, an alien movie is kind of slow, and I had to watch this one twice. But it plays upon how the decisions you make in the present affect your future and your past as well. It's kind of trippy, but you know, it makes you think. Number 4, another movie with Bruce Willis. This one's called Looper. This is where his present self has to go back in time and kill his past self. Now, it is a little tricky, it's a little sci-fi, but it also makes you think. And it shows how each gift is a weapon, and how each weapon is also a gift. I don't want to tell the whole story, but you'll get it. Number 5. Now, this is a trippy one. I still might have to watch this one again. This one's called The Congress, and it's about how you kind of lose yourself every time you sell out or sell your soul to the devil. How you go from, now it's not it's a cartoon, but the first half is a movie, a physical movie, and how you lose yourself and you go down this wormhole every time you sell out. Steve, I gotta watch it again, dog. Now, these are all movies that I like because they make me think. They help me get outside my own paradigm, my own box.
Anyone that has had a spiritual awakening, you certainly can relate to the feeling insane part, because you all of a sudden become very disassociated with your current life, friends, family, people, places, and things, your vocation, because your frequency has changed. When you are awakening, you're stepping into a higher state of conscious awareness. That's a raising in frequency, and that becomes very vibrationally dissonant from everything that you originated from a lower frequency. Now, that's not to say that the lower frequency is bad in any way. It just means that you've kind of outgrown that stage in your life, and now you are being updated and upgraded, and you're out of alignment with the old version of you.
Hey, I hate to break it to you, but nobody else has, so I guess I will. Your spiritual journey, it's not about crystals and tarot cards and meditating all the time. Your spiritual journey, once you start awakening, is traumatic, dramatic, horrific, but also beautiful, blissful, peaceful, and full of so much love and happiness that you will not be able to compute how those things are happening at once. But the truth is, your spiritual journey is not, like I said, going to be, sure, we have all of these great tools to help us navigate the experience, but the actual spiritual journey is an extreme roller coaster that's about ups and downs and facing all of the things that you have been avoiding your whole life, because those obstacles are actually going to help you remember who you are. Because once you work through them and stop moving around them, which is what the spiritual journey is about, bringing all the ugly to the forefront, you can then let it all go, shed it like skin, and begin to feel who you really are, which is that unconditional love, light, being full of peace and radiance.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but burning sage and meditating don't make you more spiritual. Going vegan don't make you more spiritual. Listening to Erykah Badu, Lauryn Hill don't make you more spiritual. Doing tarot readings don't make you more spiritual. Replacing I with I as in EYE don't make you more spiritual. Walking in grass barefoot and hugging trees don't make you more spiritual. Dressing a certain way and wearing all types of crystals, jewelry don't make you more spiritual. The list goes on and on, but I'm gonna stop there. You can do all those things and still be a shitty person. That don't automatically rank you above everyone else. The real question is, are you doing the inner work? Are you healing your trauma? Are you learning who you are? Are you releasing and unlearning toxic patterns and behaviors? Are you loving yourself? Are you letting go of fear? Are you letting go of ego and focusing on being compassionate towards others? That might ruffle a lot of feathers, but somebody has to say it.
Reality explained in 1 minute 30 seconds. The universe is mental. Everything you experience is inside of your mind. This is why the 4 elements have the word meant in it, mind. You do not see into reality. Light is sucked through the eyes and the image is produced at the back of the brain. You only experience electrical impulses on your nervous system. You do not actually touch the real world. Only thing that exists outside of you is electromagnetic light waves. Everything's made out of one substance, and that substance is light. A torus field is one unit of light. Physical matter is a result of two opposing forces equalized on the plane of inertia, which give us planet Earth. The torus field is black light giving birth to white light. This white light then gives birth to red and blue. This is why everything in this matrix is red and blue. Everything in this creation has polarity, good and bad. The torus field creates the sine wave. This sine wave is what gives us good and bad, day and night, summer, winter. The DNA is a sine wave, the sun does a sine wave, the zodiac is a sine wave, the dollar bill. You are a star, this is why we say Mr., Sister, stir is star. We start in the stars and we enter a soul system, not a solar system. You crystallize into the 7 energies, which are your 7 energy centers in your body. Then you enter the heart, which rearranged spells earth. Life rearranged spells file, and it's being recorded by the 2 eyes. There is no past or future, there's only an infinite and indefinite now. What you call as a memory is actually energy. So your mind is the root cause of all of this. This is why it's mind over matter. You change this physical world by your mind.
The universe follows some laws. I call these laws the truth, because they never change. You can't ignore or break these laws because we, the universe and God, all abide by them. If these laws didn't exist, everything would be a mess. Look around, and you'll see evidence of these laws. Day turns into night, then back into day again. Summer changes to winter, then back to summer. The instinctual behavior of cats chasing mice. These are patterns, constant and predictable in nature. Some people call these patterns signs of God, because they believe that God is in everything and is everything. By understanding these fundamental principles that govern the universe, a profound power can be unleashed within you. This power can guide you to take control of your life and accomplish anything your heart truly desires. I hope you've encountered the principle of mentalism, a concept from Hermetic philosophy. This principle postulates that the all is mind, the universe is mental. To simplify, it proposes that everything in existence, the universe, the cosmos, and all reality, is fundamentally a mental construct, a form of consciousness. This consciousness, often referred to as the all or the one, is believed to be an infinite living mind. Under this view, all things are thoughts within this mind, meaning that reality is more of a mental construct than a purely physical one. This also implies that our own thoughts have the potential to influence reality, at least to some degree. The principle of mentalism doesn't deny the physical realm, but rather emphasizes the mental foundation underlying it. It suggests a shift in perception, a realization that consciousness is not just a product of the universe, but rather the universe itself is a product of consciousness. You are not separate from the universe, nor is the universe separate from you. We are all fragments of the same consciousness, the same mind, interconnected and interwoven. It's as if the universe is a vast ocean, and we are the waves, different in form and function, but fundamentally made of the same substance. What does this mean for you, for me, for all of us seeking spiritual growth? It means that we have an untapped reservoir of potential within us. It signifies that our thoughts, beliefs, and perceptions have a profound impact on our reality. It underscores the idea that when we change our minds, we change our world. Visualize your mind as a garden. Your thoughts are the seeds you plant. Your attention is the sunlight that helps them grow, and your emotions are the water that nourishes them. If you plant seeds of fear, doubt, and negativity, they will grow into weeds that choke out the flowers of joy, peace, and love. However, if you choose to sow seeds of positivity, resilience, and empathy, they will blossom into a beautiful landscape that not only uplifts you but also those around you. There's an old saying, "As a man thinketh, so he is." It's an affirmation of the principle of mentalism. Your reality, your life, your experiences are all shaped by the thoughts you harbor, the beliefs you hold. You have the power to choose your thoughts, and in doing so, you have the power to mold your world. It's not an instantaneous process, nor is it an easy one. It requires diligence, discipline, and patience, but rest assured, the rewards are beyond measure. The path of spiritual growth is a journey of self-discovery, a voyage into the depths of your consciousness. Each step on this path takes you closer to realizing your true nature, your divine essence. You may wonder, how do I start this journey? How do I harness the power of my mind? The answer is simple, yet profound, through mindfulness and meditation, by being fully present in the moment, by observing your thoughts and emotions without judgment, by cultivating a state of inner stillness amidst the chaos of the external world. You begin to understand the true nature of your mind. Practice mindfulness in your everyday life. When you eat, focus on the flavors, the textures, the aromas. When you walk, feel the ground beneath your feet, the wind against your skin, the rhythm of your heartbeat. When you converse with others, listen with intent, respond with compassion, and understand with empathy. It's through these seemingly ordinary activities that you develop extraordinary mindfulness. And in this mindful state, you recognize that you're not a passive spectator, but an active participant in the unfolding of the cosmic consciousness or universe. You realize that every thought you have, every belief you hold, every emotion you feel, is a ripple in the cosmic ocean of consciousness, capable of creating waves of change. Everything is alive and connected to everything else. Every thought you have and action you take are all interlinked and rely on each other. In this interconnected web, you play a vital role. In a time when people feel so divided, when they've been led to believe that they are separate from each other, understanding this universal principle can help bring more peace, unity, and understanding among us. This knowledge is a powerful tool we can use when we feel distant from each other. It can help us build a world where we respect and value each other. The Hermetic principle of mentalism is a special universal principle that can bring us together into one shared memory complex or collective consciousness. Remember, my friend, the key to spiritual growth lies within you, within your mind. The universe isn't something external that happens to you. It's internal and happens through you. Embrace the principle of mentalism, understand its wisdom, apply it in your life, and watch as you transform not only your own reality, but also contribute to the grand evolution of the collective consciousness. So go forth, my friend, plant seeds of love, hope, and compassion in your mind garden. Tend to them with patience and diligence. Cultivate a fertile landscape of joy, peace, and enlightenment. Become the change you wish to see in the world. Remember, the all is mind, the universe is mental, and you are a vital, vibrant part of it all.
You probably didn't know, but there's a dark side that comes with a spiritual awakening. True, it can be a powerful, transformative experience that brings about a lot of positive change in your life, but it also has a darker side that can be quite challenging and difficult for many to navigate. I'm going to share with you 5 of the most common symptoms associated with the darker side of the spiritual awakening. Number 1, increased sensitivity. As you become awakened to your true self, you're likely to become hypersensitive to all of the energies around you. This is often accompanied with physical and mental symptoms like depression, anxiety, insomnia, and just pure exhaustion. Number 2 is loss of identity. A spiritual awakening can lead to the realization that many of the beliefs and values that you held so dearly were often adopted without critical thought or reflection. As a result, you might feel like you don't even know who you are anymore, and might even be experiencing existential crisis. Number 3, disruption or even loss of your relationships. After awakening, you may realize that you no longer resonate with the people or relationships that you previously held dear. And that distance that's created often leads to feelings of isolation and loneliness. Number 4, facing your shadow side. This is more of a blessing than a curse, trust me. The entire process of a spiritual awakening can bring to light unhealthy patterns, suppressed emotions, and even past traumas. This can be, and often is, a very painful process to go through, but it is necessary. Number 5, spiritual bypassing. This is something a lot of people don't really want to talk about. Essentially, this is when you use spirituality as a means of escaping or avoiding the unpleasant realities of life. You may be using spirituality as a way of avoiding the necessary emotional and psychological work that needs to be done. This can lead to an even greater disconnection from self and from everyone around you. While the spiritual awakening process can be a deeply transformative experience, it is important to understand and navigate its darker aspects. It is essential to have a support system and a safe space to process emotions. You may find it helpful to seek guidance from a trusted spiritual teacher, a counselor, or even a therapist who can help guide you and support you throughout the journey.
Okay, so today I'm going to tell you about enlightenment and why it's actually a lot easier than people realize. Okay, so first of all, there's actually no one to be enlightened. In different traditions around the world, enlightenment is either the realization that you have no self or the realization that yourself is not your thinking mind and your body, but awareness itself, which is also pure being. And what this really means for both views is that there's literally no one or anything to actually be enlightened. This is because in the first view common to Buddhism, enlightenment is literally the realization that you have no self. So there's no self to actually be enlightened. As the Buddhist saying goes, suffering is, but there is no sufferer. Deeds are, but there is no doer. Nirvana is, but no man enters it. And the path is, but no one walks it. Now the second view about enlightenment is the one that most people recognize. It's often called self-realization, which is essentially the realization that yourself is one with the ultimate reality. Now, as I said before, in the second view, the self is not your thoughts or your body, or anything that appears within your field of consciousness. The self is that which underlies them, which witnesses all the changes in both your mind and your body. Now, it is said that the only way to witness change is if you're apart from it. In the same way that when you're on a train, you cannot notice when the train is moving, because you're part of the changing train. But when you stand apart from it and look at it from the outside, you can notice the train moving and you standing still. This essentially means that you're not your body or your mind, because you always witness their constant changes, which means that you somehow stand apart from them. This true self is the awareness that underlies your body and mind, which is simply there witnessing their constant changes. Through practices like meditation, when you simply sit in stillness until you reach a point of no thought, you will reach that awareness or pure consciousness, which is essentially just your consciousness without any content, no thoughts, no emotions, not even the perception of your body. When you reach that state, the awareness or pure consciousness is simply there, being, in its infinite presence, and that's essentially what it is, pure being or pure presence. If you take a moment to simply sit still and observe, you'll notice that this awareness is here right now. It's your sense of presence or existence or being, and it's here all the time. Now this presence or awareness or simply sense of being, which is also what I call the sense of I am, is essentially your true self, which is what connects you to the ultimate reality. Now, in many traditions around the world, the ultimate reality is equated with the absolute or God. Now, in all of these traditions, God or the absolute is not a thing or a being or something that exists, but it's the very foundation for existence. And this is what many traditions call being itself, which is something that transcends the world, but also embraces it, as everything in existence is within absolute being. But being itself is not a thing, an object or a thought or a body. It's literally nothing that exists. It's the very foundation for existence. This is why in Exodus 3:14, God says to Moses, I am that I am. Because again, I am is the verb for being, which is also the ultimate reality as well as your sense of presence or being or I am. And this is why there is no one to be enlightened, because enlightenment is the realization that you are not a being or a thing or something that exists, but the very foundation for existence, which is being itself. So, welcome back. You literally are all this because you are everything and also nothing, because being is not a thing, but it also manifests as all things. So if you're gonna remember something from this video, just remember that when someone tells you who or what you are, just tell them, I am that I am.